You're listening to CherryPickin Entertainment.
Throw me the ball and watch what I do with it.
You are now tuned into the CherryPickin podcast with your host, Andre Cherry.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome into the CherryPickin podcast. I'm your host, Andre Cherry, and we're back for another exciting week of college football. We are now headed into week 13 of the season. Things are rapidly coming to a finish here. We got a few more weeks left of the regular season, and it's been exciting. There's a lot of exciting matchups. There's a lot of games that hold a lot of impact and significance in the conference races, as well as the playoff chase as well. So there's a lot going on right now. Definitely want to kick it off with the news about James Franklin getting hired by Virginia Tech. It doesn't seem as if Franklin was out of action for very long, maybe a few weeks. He even got the nice royal treatment on ESPN where he could just say his piece for a segment. So James Franklin's sitting pretty, and this is coming off the heels of him getting that record buyout. Wasn't it like $53 million or something like that? Second highest buyout in college football. Virginia Tech hired James Franklin this past week on Monday to be its next head coach. There will be a formal press conference or news conference rather on Wednesday morning. And there's a statement here from James Franklin, and he says, and I quote, "I'm honored and humbled to join the Hokie family. My vision is simple: to restore unmatched excellence, to build something that lasts, and to serve this university, the Commonwealth of Virginia, and our amazing fan base with honor, integrity, and passion. I look forward to getting to work with all our players, our staff, and the entire Virginia Tech community," end quote. Now, if you recall, James Franklin, he was originally owed a pretty huge buyout. I said $53 million, but it looks like that number is actually $49 million after he was fired from Penn State back on October 12th. Part of his deal, though, with him getting a job, he doesn't receive that money any longer. He only has now, I believe, a $9 million settlement from the Nittany Lions because he was able to find a job and got hired. So Franklin seems like a guy that he's got that energy. He's a competitor. He wants to win. He's a head coach. He's a good head coach. He's good. He's not great. We've said this before. You've read it online. You've seen the things. You've seen his record, which prevents him from being great at this point. But he is a good head coach. I think it is a good hire for Virginia Tech. A program that used to be one of the juggernauts of college football for a while, for a long, long time. They've slipped up a little bit, but James Franklin, he's still got that juice, that young energy, and it could be good. It could be a good fit because Virginia Tech seems somewhat similar to Penn State in the sense that these are communities that really love football, really love the program, really want to be great, and I think it's a good fit for James Franklin. I think it's a good hire. And I don't think he was trying to screw Penn State over at all. Like, he could have probably just drug this out, gotten his huge settlement, but I think he said it before, Penn State has done a lot for himself and his family. They've been really good to James Franklin over the years. So I don't think he was trying to screw them over, so to speak. I think he genuinely wanted to coach again. He found a good program that he could really build up. He'll have the time to build it, and because he has a good record. He has a good resume. Despite the losses to top 10 teams in the AP poll, overall his record is very impressive. So this is a good place to start and to build from if you're Virginia Tech. He's a guy that has the football IQ. He has the bona fides. Like he's a good hire in my opinion. So I think he's going to be a good fit in Virginia Tech in that community. He went 128 wins to 60 losses over 12 seasons at Penn State, and then he had 3 seasons at Vanderbilt before that. And he has won more than 68% of his games, and he had an appearance in the 2024 College Football Playoff semifinals and a Big Ten championship in 2016. So those are all great things. I think he will be a good fit for Virginia Tech. He replaces former defensive coordinator Brent Pry, who was fired in September after an 0-3 start and a 16-24 record with the Hokies through 4 seasons. The ACC also provides a path to the playoffs which will be a lot easier than in the Big Ten. So he can finish the mission and finish the goal in the ACC because they're not going to have the competition like the Big Ten had. Certainly things could change year over year, and it can be a really strong conference in football, but if we're just being honest right now, the conference doesn't look that great. Miami's running away with it. They're playing really well. Georgia Tech looked good this season, but Florida State's down. Clemson is down. Virginia Tech, once he has a chance to get in, put his hands on the program, bring in the players that he wants, and build that thing up, Virginia Tech will be rolling, and they will be a competitor out of the ACC. They'll be in the playoffs soon. So I think that's a good pickup, a good partnership between James Franklin and Virginia Tech. I'm excited to see what happens these next few years here. Now I'd like to transition into my top 5 picks for Week 13 action. In the ACC, we got NC State and Florida State. So these two teams are 5-5 and have 2 wins in conference. They both feel like they need something positive to happen right now, especially considering how NC State got pummeled by Miami a week ago, and then Florida State started off hot, and they've kind of let off the gas as well. So bowl eligibility is the goal for both of these programs right now, and for NC State to get there, they need to handle business against Florida State this weekend. Many players for NC State have shown flashes of greatness this season, including its quarterback CJ Bailey and running back Hollywood Smothers, an incredible name, Hollywood Smothers, especially during that exciting upset victory over Georgia Tech just a few weeks ago. These guys need to turn it on and turn it up against Florida State this weekend, and I believe they will. Vegas is favoring Florida State to win, but NC State has won the last 3 meetings at home against the Seminoles. So I'm taking NC State to win a close one out of the ACC. Then in the Big Ten, Michigan is meeting Maryland. Lost amid all of the exciting storylines in the Big Ten Conference this season, including Indiana's incredible run, Ohio State's continuing dominance this season, and James Franklin getting axed from Penn State, is the fact that Michigan has quietly put together an impressive record this season at 8-2 and 6-1 in the conference. They've got a chance to hit 10 wins this season, which would be really impressive. Maryland, on the other hand, has been quite disappointing, and the news with Mike Locksley, their head coach, it came out this past weekend that he will remain Maryland's football coach next season, and the school plans to significantly increase financial support for the program, and that came from athletic director Jim Smith. So Locksley is in his 8th season with the Terps, who have lost 6 straight games. They're currently 4-6. Maryland went 4-8 last season after they won bowl games in 3 consecutive seasons, which marked the longest such streak in program history. So Smith said that he wants to prioritize retaining key players, including a freshman class that's supposed to be one of the best in the country, and it's all part of his strategy. He wants to keep head coach Locksley in place so that he can help spearhead these freshmen in and kind of keep that continuity within the program. And there's a quote here from athletic director Jim Smith, and I quote, "We are working to strengthen our NIL support for 2026 and beyond and have already seen success for next year. We are prioritizing roster retention, recruiting, and competing in the transfer portal," end quote. And that came from athletic director Jim Smith. So a lot of people have mixed reactions. I saw on Twitter that they aren't happy about retaining Mike Locksley, who has had success at the program early on, but lately they've kind of gone backwards. So the fan base is not too thrilled with it, but I'm sure if they understand what the big plan is, they've kind of come off that a little bit, but fans are split. And so Maryland hasn't looked good this season. It's a shame because they started looking great at the start of the season. It looked like they were going to be one of the top teams in the conference, and then they've gone on this slide these last 5 or 6 games. So this weekend, I'm taking Michigan. I think they get to 9 wins, but I'm taking the Wolverines over Maryland this weekend. And then out of the Big Ten, I'm taking Nebraska over Penn State. A 4-6 Penn State team, I believe, is favored right now in this matchup over a 7-3 Nebraska team. They are playing at home in Happy Valley, so that makes a huge difference. But I really think Matt Rule comes into Happy Valley and has his way over the Nittany Lions as he prepares to take the Penn State job next season. There, I've said it. He's going to take that job next season. I think Rule flexes big time in front of his buddy Pat Kraft, who is the current AD at Penn State and who used to be his boss at Temple. It looks like, for me, I'm going to take Nebraska to win by at least 10 points this weekend and put Penn State out of its misery finally this season. So I think Matt Rule gets a victory in Happy Valley over Penn State this weekend. Then out of the Big 12, we got UCF versus Oklahoma State. UCF, good. OK State, bad. I'm taking UCF. Then out of the SEC, we've got Oklahoma versus Missouri. Over the last 40 games between these two schools, Oklahoma is 34-6 against Missouri. Damn. Oklahoma is picking up steam again right now, coming off of an exciting victory against Alabama in Week 12, where OU's defense came up with 17 points off of 3 turnovers from the Crimson Tide last weekend, which is impressive. I think Oklahoma seizes this moment, especially at home, to beat Missouri, their longtime old-school rival from the Big 12, in a close one, but to keep their playoff potential hopes alive for another week. So they're outside looking in at the playoffs, but I think they need this win, and they need a good win against Missouri to kind of stay in the hunt there. So I'm taking Oklahoma over Missouri. So those are my top 5 picks. Let me run them down for you again. Top 5 picks within the Big 4 conferences, or Power 4 conferences rather, for Week 13. So in the ACC, I'm taking NC State over Florida State. In the Big 10, I'm taking Michigan over Maryland. In the Big 10, I'm taking Nebraska over Penn State. Out of the Big 12, I'm taking UCF over Oklahoma State. Out of the SEC, I'm taking Oklahoma over Missouri. And those are my picks this week, my friends. And you know what? Because it's Thanksgiving, because I'm feeling really thankful for the audience and just really happy in this moment, I'm going to do something that I haven't done. I'm going to be gone next week. My family is traveling out of the country. We are headed off to Europe for a Thanksgiving holiday in Paris, France. We enjoy going there. This is like the 3rd time we've gone in the last 4 years. We love going. And I actually love Thanksgiving. I'm a huge Thanksgiving fan. I'm a day one fan of Thanksgiving. But my daughter's in school. This is the time we have off. And we're like, you know what? Why don't we go to Europe over shoulder season? We love it over there. It's such a great time. We can just rest and recharge the batteries. So I'm thankful for that. But I'm thankful for you. And what I'm going to do, because I'll be gone next week, I want to give you my top 5 picks for Week 14 action. So I'm going to look ahead just 1 week and give you 5 picks that I think will win straight up next week for Week 14. So out of the ACC, I'm taking NC State over UNC. This is the 114th meeting between these two rivals, and they played every season since 1953, if you can believe it or not. My daddy wasn't even born yet. Damn. Through the last 4 seasons, NC State is 4-0 over UNC. I think they win big at home against Bill Belichick in Week 14 to hopefully secure bowl eligibility if they haven't already done that in Week 13. I think they take the moment against UNC in Week 14 to get to bowl eligibility. So I'm taking NC State over UNC. It's going to be ugly. Then out of the Big 10, I'm taking USC over UCLA. USC has had a respectable season this year, and at the time I'm recording this podcast, they've got 8 wins heading into an epic matchup against Oregon this weekend. I do think that they drop that game against the Ducks up in Eugene this weekend, but I think they can get to 9 wins easily by beating UCLA, who hasn't had many bright spots this season, outside of upsetting Penn State at the Rose Bowl earlier this season. So even though UCLA has beaten USC in the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum these last 2 trips, I do think that USC gets right and beats the Bruins next weekend at home. So I'm taking USC over UCLA. Then out of the Big 10, we got Ohio State and Michigan. Even though Michigan has beaten Ohio State each of the last 4 years, I think Ohio State exacts revenge over the Wolverines next weekend to remain undefeated. I want Michigan to win, so let's be clear on that. I would love to see Michigan beat Ohio State, but I don't think Ohio State slips up this season. They'll remain undefeated until they get to the playoffs, so I'm taking Ohio State over Michigan in a close one. Out of the Big 12, Utah over Kansas. Utah wins big over KU. There, I said it. Utah wins big. And then out of the SEC, we got A&M over Texas. Now that these two teams are in the SEC, that they're rivals again, this is A&M's first trip to Austin since 2010. These two teams do not like each other, and it's a real rivalry in every sense of the word. I wish I could be in Texas and Austin next weekend to watch this game up close. There's a lot on the line for A&M, and at the time that I'm recording this podcast, head coach Mike Elko has his Aggies rolling with an undefeated record so far this season. Texas will be waiting for this game to hopefully knock off little brother A&M and ruin their perfect season. I don't see it coming, though. I don't think Texas is as good or as deserving of some of the credit in the ranking that they've got right now. I think A&M is the more complete team. They are a dangerous team. I think they're hungry, and I don't think they slip up. So I don't think that Texas will ruin the perfect season. I do think A&M will beat the Longhorns and exact revenge over the 7-17 loss from a season ago against the Texas Longhorns. So I'm taking A&M to win big over Texas in Week 14 action. So those are my picks for Week 14. Let me run those down for you one more time. Out of the ACC, I'm taking NC State over UNC. Out of the Big Ten, I'm taking USC over UCLA. Out of the Big Ten, I'm taking Ohio State over Michigan. Out of the Big 12, I'm taking Utah over Kansas. And out of the SEC, I'm taking A&M over Texas. So there we have it, my friends. Those were my picks for Week 14 action, or Week 13 action and Week 14 action. So jam-packed everything into a small little podcast. Before I get out of here, though, I do want to talk about an experience I had last week at the Squid Game, the Challenge watch party in Philly. I don't really have anyone else to share this with because I don't think anybody else really cares. But I love the Squid Game on Netflix, the reality show. So I've seen the actual TV, the Korean show on Netflix, but I actually like the reality show so much better because I love challenges. I grew up on MTV's The Challenge back when it was like Road Rules versus Real World Challenge. Loved it. And I watched it ever since. I kind of fell off. I'm not going to lie. I fell off the last few seasons just because I'm busy. Don't have the time to dedicate to it. But there's something about the Squid Game, the challenge, that I find so fascinating. And I think it's because a lot of these folks are eager, are excited to be competing. A lot of them probably have aspirations to be stars and social media icons. You can't say that that's not happening because there's clearly, if you watch season 2, there seems to be folks that are already content creators or folks that look like models or actors. And so a lot of that experience from what I'm seeing on TV reminds me of how it is to be a background actor. So I'm in SAG and I've done a lot of background work on some local productions here in Philadelphia. And a lot of the interactions that I see on the Squid Game, the challenge, remind me of how folks act on a TV set or on a film set even. And so I feel a lot of the happy memories of folks just coming together. These are complete strangers. They're bonded by the fact that they're doing something together that's kind of cool, that not a lot of people want to do. You know, when it comes to background acting, I think a lot of people think it's exciting, think it's kind of interesting. But when you actually sit down and are working on set for over 8, 10, 12 hours a day, the allure of it and all the, you know, the romantic feelings you have about the experience and about being an actor kind of fade away because it's kind of grueling work and you're just an actor. But like for the folks that are actually in the crew, they're actually doing hard manual labor. I mean, everyone treats it like a job because it is a job. It's fun for me because I love the process of it. I love the experience of being on set and creating something together that you can one day, a year from now, look back and be like, oh, I was on the set that day. You can't really see me. I'm like a speck in this crowded basketball scene. But I remember the vibes. I remember interacting with the other background actors, other actors. I don't want to say background because that's kind of, that's probably a bad term. As an actor, like the other actors on set, you kind of bond with them. You remember what you ate for lunch. You remember just standing on your feet all day, being exhausted. You remember the conversations you had. You remember maybe meeting the top actors on set, like meeting an Adam Sandler or meeting a Chadwick Boseman, rest in peace. Like you remember all the details that made that movie, like what that little piece you had that maybe is not seen. You enjoy seeing the scene you shot together in a crowd with hundreds of other people. You know what I mean? Like it's stuff like that that makes me feel so happy when I watch the Squid Game, the challenge, because they're all bonded in this experience that not a lot of people have the chance to do. Only 456 players get to play the Squid Game each season, and they're eliminated in dramatic fashion. I find it hilarious. It's a comedy to me. Everyone has something that they are playing for, somebody that they're playing for. Maybe they've got a family at home, somebody's sick. That is beautiful. That's, they're being honest with us, with themselves. Like, they need a chance to change their lives. Everybody does. And I'm not trying to take that away from anybody that does the show. But when I was at the party, everyone was friendly. And I'm talking to these reality stars. I talked to the winner of Squid Game 1, Mai. Like, I never thought I would ever be in the same room with her. And some of the other stars that I enjoy watching from Squid Game, the season 1 and Squid Game 2. Like, I'm cutting it up with these people. And we were at the Fringe Arts out here in Philly off of Columbus Boulevard. Beautiful location right underneath the Ben Franklin Bridge. Beautiful spot. It was a great time. There was probably hundreds of people in that building. And maybe 3 of us were just regular fans. I don't think I saw many people that weren't attached to the program in some way, or attached to Big Brother, or attached to Survivor. They were all, for the most part, reality stars. At least 95% of them were reality stars. And I have never been in a room with reality stars before. So I wasn't sure what to expect. I didn't actually think it would be majority reality stars. But these folks came together from all across the world. Some people came from like Australia. People from all across the different states all came together to have a great event. We watched the second set of episodes. 4 were released last week. We watched those together as a group, had a great time. We were in this auditorium. We saw it on a large projector screen. We had a blast. I was sitting next to, I think his number was 408 from season 2. I think his name was Alex. Saw him get eliminated in an event. It was crazy to be immersed in that world for a few hours. And I've always wanted to do the show, not because I need the money per se. Certainly $4.56 million is life-changing. It would alter my family's life for generations, certainly, if you manage it right and whatnot. But I just like to compete. I like to do things. I like that component of the show. But more and more I read about some of the psychological effects and how it can be negative and harmful for people that do reality shows. It's really troubling to me. And I'm really troubled by it. I've been dreaming about the Squid Game and being on it these last few nights, because I find it fascinating that everybody that I talked to at the Squid Game event, everybody was nice. Everybody enjoyed talking to me. But the vibe of the room, it felt like these people had endured something kind of traumatic. They had this experience that, not a lot of other people can say that they will ever do, but it felt like the stress of what they went through, the weight of it, they were there physically, but it just felt off to me. Something felt really weird, and it's hard for me to describe it in words. But they were so gracious with their time. Everybody was just so excited for me to come up to them and talk to them. And I was really surprised by that. I talked to Mai maybe for 7-10 minutes. I thought it'd be more hey Mai, I enjoyed you on the Squid Game 1. Can I take a picture with you? But we actually had a genuine conversation. I met her husband. She was really engaged with me in a way that felt unnatural. It didn't feel believable that this person who has done something incredible, has had this amazing experience, has probably done these events all the time, was genuinely interested in me. So we talked for a while, and the same went for other players this season. I talked to Mark from this season, at player 100, talked to him, had a good conversation with him, and so on and so forth. These people it's hard to describe. It just didn't feel like a normal interaction. It felt like these people were bonded in something that was really stressful, maybe traumatic, and they were just kind of coming together, and it was a chance for them to have fellowship with other Squiddies. And I have no idea what that experience was like. I've been reading more and more about like the psychological effects of reality show and the things that producers strive to do before and after something airs and the camera stop rolling. Like, it can be really traumatic, the effect that reality shows have on people. I mean, we're all watching these shows, we're all rooting for people, or maybe a player gets a bad edit and we're like, oh, this guy's a jerk, this guy's an idiot. I mean, some people were getting death threats for how things went down in the game. Like, it's crazy how attached we are to celebrities and reality stars. And they don't deserve all of that negative attention. You know what I mean? Like, I'm excited and that, like, the possibility of being on that show, because I have applied. If you're listening, Squid Game producers, I have applied. But I'm thinking more carefully about like the long-term effects that it could have on my family's life, on me, and I'm just not sure if it's worth it. You know what I mean? For like 5 seconds of fame, I don't know if it's worth the price to give up my mental health, my overall well-being, and just relationships with people and how I view people and view life. I mean, some of the players are saying they had pretty bad nightmares when they returned from home. They had to speak to like counselors and stuff like that for a while. I mean, I don't know if that's worth it to me. You know what I mean? Like, the day-to-day life can be hard and grueling and it can be unfair at times, but I don't know that I would want to put myself out on the line like that to have to deal with nightmares and some of these stressful moments and like you just not feeling like yourself. You know what I mean? Like, I would hate to go in feeling optimistic and just cheerful and excited about life and then come out just kind of like shell-shocked, if that makes sense. And that's kind of the feeling I got from a lot of the folks that I spoke with. Like, I enjoyed being there, but ever since I've been out of that event, it's been about a week now, I can't shake this feeling that I experienced something that like they were in this stressful pressure cooker and it kind of changed them in a way. Like, I hope I'm making sense. It was such an incredible experience. Like, I am deeply moved by just being in that space with them. And I find it like deeply unsettling. And I know I love watching Squid Game. The new episode comes out today. I believe the finale is today. It's just crazy what people will do to get on that TV show, or any show rather, and try to make it. One guy I spoke to, I believe he said he's got something else in the works. He couldn't say it outright, but he certainly looked like he could be on some sort of dating show on Netflix. So maybe that's what's next for him. But he released a profound statement online just saying, thank you to my Squiddies. I will always remember the memories and the moments we had together. Like, you changed me. You changed my life for the better. I'll never forget you. So like, that is really profound to read, and just to see somebody that maybe thought that was the only option they had, was to go on a reality show to have a chance to win $4.56 million. Statistically, the odds are not in your favor, but if you get down to some of these groups where you're the top 40, top 20, top 10, top 5, it becomes more real. There's a real possibility you could win this. And so I'm just so interested in the after effects of being on a reality show like that, and how people cope and how people try to get back to a sense of self. So I went on a little rant there, but I had to share it because I love the Squid Game. I love watching that show. Anytime I'm traveling, anytime I'm doing anything in the background, if I'm not listening to sports radio, I'm watching the Squid Game, because it's just so mindless to me. It's just, I'm watching these people. They're in this room together. There's really not much else for them to be distracted by. They have no cell phones, no form of communication with the outside world at all. It's just people in this huge dorm room, basically. They have to live together, they eat, and they play these games, these childhood kid games together, and they get eliminated one by one. I find it so fascinating. I can't stop watching it. I would love to be a part of it, even though I just said it seems so negative and it would have a profound effect. Like, I'm still intrigued by it, that I would still want to at least go through the steps and try to interview and go through all the things to see if I can get selected. But at this point in my life, I'm approaching 40. I don't know if I can can do that with the family, but I am very interested in the show, and that's just something about me that maybe you didn't know previously. I love that game show, and I can't wait to watch it tonight. So thank you for letting me go on a rant there. I am excited that Thanksgiving is coming up soon. I'm excited to go on a little break with my family. I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday. I hope you stay safe. Hope you enjoy watching all the college football games this week and next week. Hope you spend it with your friends and your family. And I can't wait to talk to you soon. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Peace. And I actually love Thanksgiving. I'm a huge Thanksgiving fan. I'm a day one fan of Thanksgiving. Thank you again for tuning into my Cherry Pickin' podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please feel free to subscribe to my show and drop me a rating on Apple Podcasts. All of my digital content can be found at the website CherryPickinSports.com. And if you are looking to interact with me via social media, my Twitter handle is @Cherry_Pickin. That's PICKIN. On my Twitter, you'll also find a link to my blog where I post my weekly college football predictions and analysis. I can also be reached via email at cherrypickinsports@gmail.com. Please feel free to reach out to me regarding what you like about this podcast or about what content you'd like to hear more of on future episodes. I sincerely thank you for your support, and I can't wait to talk to you again soon. Take care.